Hi boys, I hope you are all well. In exercise 16 it says that C. Cindy owns Candy Love. She makes homemade chocolates and her markup percentage on her chocolates is 45%. Now the reason why I'm highlighting this is because remember, you will use this value every single time when you have a sale to go and calculate the cost price of that sale. Then it says that these are her duplicate receipt details for March 2000 and it doesn't really specify which year, so I just made it March 2020. Now the first thing that you always need to do is you have to go and give your cash receipts journal a heading. It's the CRJ of Candy Love for March 2020, and because March is the third month of the year, it's CRJ number 3. Okay, then I just gave you your cost price formula again because sometimes you boys forget, and because her markup is 45%, you will enter that in your formula. Okay, now we can go and look at the transactions. The first transaction was on the 1st of March. It said receipt number 25 to V Valentine for chocolates, 200 Rand. Okay, so you go and record it in your CRJ. It will be receipt number 25. It's on the 1st. The customer's name is V Valentine. We received 200 Rand from the customer. It's the only transaction for the day, so you can cash up your till and bank immediately, and you have to write that value in sales. And then remember, you have to go and calculate your cost of sales like this. And then you take the value to the cost of sales column. The next transaction was on the 2nd. It said issued a receipt. They don't give you the receipt number, but you know that it will be number 26. To Spar for chocolate Easter eggs, 700 Rand. Okay, so receipt number will be number 26. It's on the 2nd. The customer's details is Spar. We received 700 Rand from them that we will put in our till, but it's the only transaction for the day, so you can draw your line, cash up your till and put the money in your bank. And you have to specify that we received this money for selling chocolates, so it goes to the sales column. Then you need to calculate your cost of sales by doing this. And then remember to take that value to the cost of sales column. Then the next transaction was on the 3rd. Once again, we issued a receipt to the tuck shop for chocolates, 300 Rand. So it will be receipt number 27 on the 3rd, the tuck shop. 300 Rand goes to analysis of receipts or our till. It's the only transaction for the day, so you can draw your line and put it in bank immediately. And you have to specify that you received it for a sale. Remember to calculate your cost of sales. And enter the value in the cost of sales column. Then the next transaction was on the 4th, but can you see that there are 2 transactions on the 4th? So now suddenly this will affect your analysis of receipts and your bank column. So it says issued a receipt to Wiesenhof. Wiesenhof is that coffee shop that you find at Macro. I don't know if you've seen that before. For chocolate spoons, 700 Rand. Okay, so once again we had a sale. The receipt number will be receipt number 28 on the 4th. The customer is Wiesenhof. We received 700 Rand from Wiesenhof, but it's not the only transaction for the day. So we don't bank yet. We leave that money in the till until the end of the day. But you have to specify what the money was for. It was for sales. And then you don't even have to go and calculate the cost of sales value again, because you would have noticed on the 2nd, we already calculated the cost of sales for 700 Rand. So the value for this sale, which is also 700 Rand, will once again be 482 Rand and 76 cents. The next transaction on the 4th was cash sales according to the CRR. Remember that stands for cash register roll, 500 Rand. Okay, so the document number if it's CRR, it's always just CRR. You don't have to write the number 4 again because we're still on the 4th. And because it's a cash sale, I want you to write sales in details. The value of the CRR was 500 Rand. And now that was the last transaction for the day. So we can take the total value of the money in our till. In other words, add these two values together and then bank the total, 1,200 Rand. Remember to draw the line after the 500 Rand because that indicates that we only banked after the 500 Rand was put into the till. Okay, then we have to specify what we received this 500 Rand for. We received it for sales. Okay, so then you have to go and calculate your cost of sales. And write the value of your cost of sales in the cost of sales column. The next transaction was on the 14th. C. Cindy increased her capital contribution by 2,000 Rand. So now the owner contributed capital to the business. We will give the owner a receipt, number 29. It's on the 14th. The owner's name is C. Cindy. She contributed 2,000 Rand. It's the only transaction for the day, so you can put the money in your bank. And it won't go to the sales or the cost of sales column because it's a capital contribution, not a sale. So you will take it to the sundry accounts section, 2,000 Rand, and you have to specify that it's for capital. Then on the 17th, we issued a receipt to F. Frost for chocolate molds, 600 Rand, and then something that is very, very, very important. I'm going to highlight it in a different color. It says her markup on the molds is 25%. So now when we use the cost price formula, we won't use the 45%, which is her markup on chocolates. We will use 25% because we're selling molds. Okay, so we will issue a receipt, number 30. The reason why I made this entire line blue is because of that markup percentage change. It's on the 17th to F. Frost, who paid us 600 Rand. Okay, it's the only transaction for the day, so we can bank immediately. And it was for a sale of chocolate molds. And now when you calculate your cost price, you use a markup of 25% like this. And then you write the 480 Rand in your cost of sales column. Then on the 18th, you issued a receipt to the Holiday Inn for liquor chocolates, 1,500 Rand. So this is just a basic receipt. On the 18th, to the Holiday Inn, they paid us 1,500. It's the only transaction for the day, so we can bank. And we have to say that it was for sales and calculate cost of sales using the 45% markup percentage. And then you write your value here in the cost of sales column. Then on the 29th, we issued a receipt to F. Frost for chocolate molds, 1,600 Rand. And the reason why I highlighted this in green is because chocolate molds have a markup percentage of 25%. Okay, that was specified on the 17th and it applies to the whole month. So in the CRJ, we will issue a receipt number 32. Once again, I made it blue because it's molds. It's on the 29th. F. Frost is the customer who paid us 1,600 Rand. It's the only transaction for the day, so put it in bank and in sales and calculate your cost of sales using a markup of 25%. And then you write your answer in the cost of sales column. And then lastly, on the 30th, we had cash sales according to the CRR, 750 Rand. And now what's important is this cash sales we'll still use that markup of 45% because it's not for chocolate molds. Okay, if it's a CRR transaction, then you write CRR in the document column. The date is the 30th. For cash sales, we always write sales. We received 750 Rand, put it in our bank and in the sales column. Calculate the cost of sales by doing this. Enter your value into the cost of sales column, and that's it. Then right at the end, just remember to total your columns. The bank column total was 8,850 Rand. Sales was 6,850 Rand. Cost of sales was 4,966 Rand and 90 cents. And sundry accounts was 2,000.